Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about a system that looks like freedom on the surface, but is often a different kind of custody underneath: probation, parole, and electronic monitoring. When people hear that someone avoided jail or got released back into the community, they often think the hard part is over. But in many cases, this is only the beginning of a new kind of control. This is not simply freedom, it is freedom with conditions, reporting, restrictions, and technology attached to it. What is at stake before probation and parole ever begins? Behind the glass, behind the barrier, is the emotional reality of separation. Families are fractured, time is lost, children, partners, and loved ones are left waiting. That's why supervised release feels so powerful. It offers a way out of full custody, but the hidden truth is that getting out does not always mean regaining a normal life. It can mean carrying the system back in the daily life with you. Let's get right to the heart of the topic. The ankle monitor is one of the clearest symbols of managed freedom in modern society. It is physical, visible, and intimate. It tells us that the person is outside the walls, but not outside supervision. The visible product is release. The hidden business and system logic is turning movement, geography, and time into things that authorities can track, verify, and punish if violated. This image is powerful because it shows multiple ankle monitors at once. Once you see several together, the device stops looking like an exception and starts looking like a category of life. This is what makes this topic so deep. Supervision is no longer just one officer and one file. It becomes scalable. It becomes a system of portable boundaries. The person may walk in public, go home, and appear free, but their location and schedule may be along partly to the system. The public language of the model is community corrections. That phrase sounds softer than incarceration, and in some ways it is. A person may be able to work, sleep at home, see family, and remain in the community. But the deeper structure is still correction. The punishment has not disappeared, it has changed form. Instead of bars and cells, there are check ins, curfews, travel limits, approved locations, and rules that follow a person into ordinary life. There are some things people never see: the administrative and technical side of supervision. Probation and parole are not just personal relationships between an officer and a supervisee, they are screens, dashboards, alerts, records, schedules, and digital systems behind the scenes. That means the hidden business is not just human oversight, it is information management. Daily life becomes data. Compliance becomes something that can be logged, reviewed, and escalated. Yes, there is a much harder edge of the system. If someone absconds, violates terms, ignores reporting, or disappears from the above pattern, the supervision model can quickly turn back into pursuit and enforcement. That is why probation and parole should not be misunderstood as simple leniency. They are conditional freedom backed by the ever present threat of return. The system may look supportive at one stage, but it still contains the power to switch back into custody logic at any time and a moment's notice. The recovery squad and the prepared enforcement expands that point. Here we see the team dimension: trained personnel, prepared response, coordinated recovery. That tells us violations are not treated as minor paperwork mistakes. They could trigger organized action. So, the hidden structure of probation and parole includes not only check ins and counseling, but also enforcement capacity, waiting in the background. Freedom here is real, but it is very fragile. It survives only as long as the person remains eligible and compliant. It is important because this shows the people who embody the system. Officers may present professionalism, community presence, and order, and in many cases, they are trying to balance supervision with support of you. But From the hidden business perspective, they are also represent the human face of managed freedom. They are the ones who translate ordinary life into institutional judgment. Was the person where they were supposed to be, doing what they were supposed to do under the terms they agreed to follow? The administrator who lets you go is a strong ending because it shows the desk, the folders, the paperwork, and the person who ultimately represents closure. After all the check-ins, after all the monitoring, all the restrictions, all the risk, someone in the office decides when the requirements have been satisfied and the file and the case can finally close. That is the deepest hidden truth of the whole topic. Freedom is not simply lived. In this system, freedom is reviewed, documented, and eventually granted back in full only after enough proof have been accumulated and court order restitution balance is zero. Thank you.